Do you remember the first time you met Coach Williams?
Actually, it was a recruiting trip. He came to watch me play. The basis of my relationship with Coach was, at the time they recognized me as a talent that they wanted to consider to go to UNC. He became the guy that came to a lot of the games, and I used to see him, and he grew a great bond with my father. Once I got to the university, he became my contact guy almost, that I bonded with. From North Carolina, Southern accent, all that other stuff. And once he and my father struck up a relationship that kind of connected with me as well.
What was it about Coach that appealed to your parents and especially your father?
I think it was his down-homeness. I know at the time my father, who was more or less a handyman type of thing, he created these heaters, and he made one for Coach Williams. And from that bond, they connected, which in essence, it connected right along with me as well.
Was there an incident where Coach Williams beat you in pool during your college career?
He told you that lie. Nah, he was a pool player. My father was a pool player. We had a lot of things in common as pool, and he actually did beat me in pool. I don't think he can beat me now, but he beat me then, and I've gotten better since then.
What kind of competitor is Coach Williams?
Fierce competitor. We played golf together. His whole attitude about, winning is not too far from my attitude about winning. So, it's a lot of similarities in there. Although I don't get as angry and frustrated as he does, I channel my energy a little bit different than what he does, but that doesn't mean we don't hate losing any differently, but he does have a temper on him.
What qualities make him a Hall of Fame coach?
His willingness to understand the athlete and try to get the best out of the athlete, his patience, his knowledge for the game, his effort and due diligence to understand the game and understand the player and how they can coexist. To me, that's a Hall of Fame type of guy who's willing to make adjustments according to the personnel as opposed to, forcing his system or his way of thinking on a team or a player. That's not Coach Williams. He's willing to make adjustments, and do it within the confinements of what the game really represents. And he holds very, high standards for the game, and he doesn't believe in a lot of things that deters the game, which to me is very, respectful. And the things that I'm pretty sure he's learned from Coach Smith and other coaches prior to him. So, he certainly goes out and preaches the same arguments.
Sometimes people see Coach Williams as just a clone of Coach Smith, but in what ways do you see him as being different?
Nah, he's a little bit different, The knowledgeable aspect of it is very similar. He learned a lot from Coach Smith. I think he utilizes a lot of the same instructional, things, but his temperament is a little bit different. I think he's a little bit more forgiving to personality of the players than Coach Smith. His persona is not quite as magnified as Coach Smith's persona was at the time, at least when I came through.
How important was it to Coach Williams' ultimate success that he worked his way up the coaching ladder?
He put in a lot of effort. I remember him putting together all the posters. That was really what, he went out and he basically, advertised the posters, the Carolina posters, and from that he's done every job below head coaching, and I think he's totally enduring to what he's getting right now, because he's put forth the effort, for many years prior to him being the head coach.
Tell me what this picture means to you.
It's like, a son seeing his father who he hadn't seen for so long, and the gratitude that was bestowed upon me in his teachings. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that felt like giving him a big kiss on his head, I just felt that the urge to do it because of what he really, really meant to me. And the admiration that I felt within that arena from the fans was far greater than, everybody else that was there, but it was all credited to him. It's no way that I can ever see myself above any of the other players, even though my career went, the route that it did. And it would have never happened without Coach Smith, And, to me, that was, my way of saying, hey, thanks, Pops, for giving me the advice, for giving me all the educations and the teachings that I've been able to utilize to elevate myself to where I am now, to the admiration of many, not just the UNC, but all over, and it would have never happened without Coach Smith.
You've said that you've missed 26 game-winning shots in your career. If it had been 27 because you had missed the Georgetown shot in 1982, how would your life have been different?
Truly was a turning point in my life for the positive. If I missed it, I don't know where I would have been. That's the day that my name went from Mike Jordan to Michael Jordan. And if it would have remained at Mike Jordan, I don't know where I would have been.
What did your college experience at Carolina mean to you?
College is the best 4 years of your life. You learn how to be independent. I came from a small city in an unforgiving, unknown situation, in college, scared to death, and it taught me how to be independent. It taught me how to be on my own. So when I left the university and went to Chicago on my own, I was able to prosper.
Does the rivalry with Duke stay with you after school?
It's one of those things that you still live through, after, you go to university. Will I draft a Duke player? Probably, with some reservations, but I probably will.
After you stole the ball from Rick Carlisle and Carmichael, is it true that Coach Smith was nervous about that one-handed dunk?
Yeah, he didn't think I was going to make it. He wasn't really fascinated with the dunk and the creativity that I possessed later in my years. Obviously, I showed signs of it at university. He never wanted to showcase or show up his opponents, and every time those type of spectacular plays happened, he felt like it was a little bit upstaging, but it was just a part of who I was, and it was to me a way of expressing myself. And not just that dunk, but the dunk against Maryland, that we had them totally beaten, and yet I did the rock-a-baby dunk at the end. He actually called me into his office and said that he would rather for me not to do that at the end of a game, such as what we did with Maryland. But that was who I was, and it was a lesson well learned, believe me.
Where did the rock the cradle dunk against Maryland come from?
Actually, we practiced it in the summertime. I would, and some of the guys in just a pickup game. We were just working on dunks, and I learned that from him.